Hey all, this is Urs, and welcome back to a preview of our upcoming Civ LP. As you remember from our voting tally, the First Nations North American LP and the Scandi-Melee were neck and neck. They were tied dead even by the end of the voting period, and our space hamsters had to flip some coins and chose the First Nations free-for-all, but it doesn't mean I forgot about our Scandi brethren. Nay! That's the series that's coming up. Indeed, the next LP will be another free-for-all style melee of madness and insanity, all up in the North Sea, It'll be brilliant. It'll be featuring a bunch of Scandinavian modded civilizations. Most of these, there's some pretty unique stuff in here, so I can't wait to see how this plays out. I have no idea if it's going to be balanced or not, but it's going to be glorious. It's going to be a 10 Civ game. It's not going to be 8 players. This is just the map size. You'll notice here a giant question mark. What's this, you say? Well, we'll be using a modded map of the North Sea, which has Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Iceland, spelled uniquely, the United Kingdom, Ireland, Northern Germany, basically a whole North Sea region to play and conquer with 10 modded civs. So very exciting about that. There'll be a couple more mods besides, but let's get to the meat of it. Let's get to the civs we're going to see, and let's start with Mr. Christian. Christian the Fourth of Denmark, Norway. Unique ability of Dominium Maris Baltici, and all that good stuff. Coastal cities automatically connected to the capital after researching the wheel. So this is kind of like Dito's vanilla, the baseline ability from Carthage. And begin with the free merchant specialist. That, however, is new. But you definitely want to be settling coastal cities, you think? Gain Contra-Admiral points from conquering or settling coastal cities. Go figure. So, let's move on to that. What is the Contra-Admiral? And again, if I start mutilating Scandinavian pronunciations, I'm sorry. I'm not Scandinavian, oddly enough. So, it's the unique Dano-Norwegian replacement for the Great Admiral. Cool. That may create a citadel on water tiles. How cool is that, right? Like, you always wanted to find a way to exert influence over ocean tiles, and now you can. And when he does that, he becomes a free naval combat unit with 30 XP. That's pretty freaking cool, alright? And now, here's the ski infantry. Now, you're like, isn't this a vanilla unit? This is lame. Well, yes and no. It's kind of a vanilla unit, but it is definitely not lame, because I think, actually, they implemented this correctly. Because you know how ski infantry kind of zoom from the hills and get momentum and stuff? That's kind of what this does. Instead of the default basic ability, which is just kind of extra combat, I think, in hills with tundra or snow or something along those lines, basically, this gains extra movement and combat strength when beginning its turn on a hill tile. Now it makes sense, right? Your ski dude gets to the top, and when he starts at the top of the hill, he goes whee and murders something. So, an interesting implementation of that ability. Can't wait to see that in action. So let's just keep rolling. So, we are going to have Gustavus Adolphus, but like all things, oh my god, it's a vanilla leader. No. It is the modded version of Gustav, because we have a bunch of other stuff in here. So let's go through what he does now. His unique ability is the father of modern warfare. He was known for a lot of really neat stuff, neat military formations, mobile cannons, and things of that nature that really set this tone for modern era warfare. So, what does he do? Infantry units produce great generals faster, beginning next to a friendly mounted unit, so it's kind of playing into the Hakapelita thing. Great generals increase the starting movement of adjacent siege units by +1. Huge, actually. And this is kind of going on to the whole light mobile cannons that Gustavus Adolphus pioneered. This means your 2-movement siege units can move, set up, and fire in the same turn. Hell yeah. So important early. So important. Because you take massive attrition in siege units. And your generals may also be used to spread your religion, because why the hell not? Hakapelita, pretty much the same as the base Hakapelita. Great movement from great generals when they're stacked, and only the Swedes get it. It's a Lancer replacement. It's not awesome. It's not bad. It's there. Regal ship is the special bonus. It's a naval unit. It replaces, it looks like the frigate. Bingo. It heals land units nearby. So on a map like the North Sea, where there's a lot of water inlets and passes adjacent to land areas, this will be pretty strong. It supports your combined naval and land-based invasion force. So very interesting, very neat. Definitely a militaristic focus for Gustav Adolphus and the other Swedens that we'll see. Yes, there's going to be a not a glut, but a good proportion of Swedens in this game, of some shape, ilk, or time period. So let's keep going. Angry Gustavus Adolphus. All right, now Hakon, the son of Hakon, from Norway, the northward route. So begin with nearby coastal tiles visible, interesting, and receive double quantity from ocean luxuries. That's nice, because one source of pearls is now 2, one source of whales is now 2. Very cool, and sources of fish yield +1 gold. So boost your economy early. The Birkebeiner, I think, again, sorry if I'm mauling these, replaces the swordsman. So 14 strength, requires iron. He gets bonus combat in snow, tundra, and hills. So basically a tougher swordsman with some terrain stuff. Stave Church. This replaces the temple, and it stores food whenever a new citizen is born, equal to the city's faith output. So basically, if you're producing 15 faith in a city, this can store up to 15% food, kind of like an extra aqueduct thing, which is insane, honestly. Doing really good. This can lead to Norway having really big cities early. And again, big populations, fuel, more useful tiles, more production, more money potentially, more food to keep growing, and also more science. So kind of an inward defensive, but can be played aggressively kind of civ depending on where you start. Pretty interesting, I think, it's going to a lot depend on where they spawn on this map. So we'll see how that all goes. But Hakon Hakonsson from Norway, awesome. Next on the line, Harald Bluetooth. And you're like, oh my god, another vanilla leader. No, it's changed. It's changed with the mods. Calm down. All right. Viking Fury. Not much different here. It's going to work well on this map, which is kind of like a 50-50 water/land map. Embark units have +1 movement and pay 1 movement to move from sea to land. So again, you don't have to spend that whole turn disembarking. And melee units pay no movement cost to pillage. Nice bonus. I like that. Now, the Berserker. Do you want to make... Okay, sorry. Clerics, man. All right. Special attacks from the sea. Plays the longsword. Basically, this is available earlier. It's at Metallurgy. You don't have to go all the way to Steel. And they're 21 strength and have 3 movement. So they're super quick. They can use that +1 movement from embarkation to land and still have a bunch of movement left over. They can kick some serious ass. I love Berserkers. They're a lot of fun. And they have axes, right? I mean, that's badass. So, Longboat, you say. Oh, it replaces a trireme. How crappy, you say. Nay, good sir, because Ford is now a ranged unit. Has 4 movement, ranged combat strength. So again, trireme era unit with ranged combat. Pretty much the only thing that has anything comparable is Byzantium, so that's really cool. It can benefit land units. It gives them increased combat and becomes stronger after you research Compass. So it automatically upgrades, kind of, after getting Compass tech. So that's pretty damn cool. I think that's really neat. A good way of filling that Gallius gap, I guess, once you hit Compass. This kind of prevents you from having to build Gallius. I think that's how it would work. I've never played this particular variant of Harold, so we see how well he plays that. And this may be a good way of fixing the aggressive Viking in a positive way and making him work a little better, especially in the hands of the AI. Or I might play him, who knows? That's the other thing. I don't know if I'm going to play in this one yet, so tune in to find out. So, we have Iceland! Why not? Iceland! Awesome. Age of Settlement by Ingolfur Arnarsson, the son of Arnar, apparently. Cities founded with scalds, oh, we should see what that is soon, or on terrain types different than the capital. Begin with a free Great Work of Writing slot. Very cool. Earn Great Writer points from discovering civs, or from winning naval battles. So, heroic Eddas, epic sagas, things of that nature, definitely on the writing side. The Skald, obviously the wandering bard of Nordic fame. We have a unique great writer which specializes in scouting across oceans and can found cities on foreign continents. It's very interesting that you can actually use your great writers to found cities, and that those cities get a free Great Work of Writing slot, not a free Great Work of Writing. So, I'm not sure how strong this actually is. You do get extra of these for meeting civs, so it might give you an early settler, kind of, but I'm not entirely certain how that's going to play out. This could either be really strong, or it might just slow down your tourism and actual culture growth. I'd have to play it to find out. Thingstead, where you meet with the Thing. It is an amphitheater replacement, and it forms a connection with the capital over water, if not already connected. It's basically like a mini harbor rolled into an amphitheater. Site for councils, kind of makes sense, meeting places. Yields +2 happiness if connected to the capital. Awesome. Extra happiness, always good. For a civ that's kind of designed as an expansionist civ, with this extra settlement bonuses with scalds and all that, Probably a good thing. Probably a good thing. So, should be an interesting way to play that one. Next up is Karl, one of the other Swedens. And, Indelningsverk, I think is what we're going to call that, and I'm going to pretend I know how to say that. 50% of food is stored after growth to be spent on hurrying military units. Not sure how that works. My guess is if you're building a military unit and you get a new pop, 50% of that food stored after growth can be kicked over to production for military units. So definitely on the militaristic bent here. Additionally, citadels created by Sweden in tundra or snow yield +2 food. Interesting way of using extra great generals. And if you were fighting a lot of wars and not losing, you may have a bunch of great generals to spare. It'll help you make use of potentially not as good terrain. And depending on where he spawns, that'll be either really useful or meh. Anyway, Karolian, this is the baseline unit. Not surprising, it starts with March. You're like, wow, isn't that lame? It's not lame. It's actually really, really strong. March on an infantry unit normally takes 3 or so promotions before you even start tasting it. And by then, it's either dead or you're not really using infantry units as your frontliners anymore. This makes them so dangerous, so dangerous. And the Karolian, it didn't need to be changed. It's already strong. It's already pretty damn strong. War Academy. This replaces the Military Academy, plus 20 XP for all units. I think that's more than the base 15. And this XP counts toward your next Great General when awarded to a newly produced military unit. Very synergistic extra generals for citadels. You can use your food to grow military units. Your citadels give you food, and this helps you get great generals. It's all just a happy cycle of murder on all your enemies. This could be a very dangerous civ to play against. We'll see if I take his helm or let someone else do it. Finland. We have Mannerheim as leader of Finland, and the Kalevala is the unique ability. Faith buildings summon unique rune singers, writing unique great works available only to Finland. Melee and gun units gain unique promotions according to nation's culture output. So, basing your military strength on your culture output. Very, very fascinating. There's a list of these things. You could probably look it up in the mod creators, I guess, forum to explain how this kind of works. I know that the Rune Singer Faith generation kind of works on a separate ticker from other great people and it's based on Faith. The unique promotions are based on certain culture output levels, so you'd have to check. I didn't memorize all the 6 or different levels that can that work on. So yeah, okay. Was that English? I stopped talking. Anyway, the Sissy. Okay, finishes a complex language. Let's leave it at that. Replaces the machine gun. It's a replacement that ignores terrain costs, may pillage with no movement penalty. So kind of like a berserker machine gun. That's pretty badass. And it gets 50% strength fighting its armor units. So these become a lot less easy prey for tanks late game, which is really nice. It's a good bonus. It probably carries over to bazookas, and that's a scary bazooka that can pillage for no cost. That's actually pretty freaking badass, honestly. And then the sauna, because everyone loves saunas. Replaces the shrine. It gives you 2 faith, which is over the base 1 from the shrine, and has a slot for a great work of writing. All right. Instant amphitheater, plus extra faith. Very nice. Units built in the city station with a sauna heal plus 10 HP per turn within own borders. I guess being relaxed in a sauna is good for your muscular regeneration, or at least that's the theory I'm propounding for that one. This could be very strong and very interesting to play as well. All these civs are actually really, 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 really neat. All right. Margaret from the Kalmar Union of the Nordic Crowns. During Golden Ages, gold is increased by 50% in coastal cities. Wow. Settle coastal cities. Coastal cities have no unhappiness penalty from founding. Wow. Settle coastal cities. Are you sensing a theme here? That is awesome. Very strong potentially. And now, added bonus, there's new art, new icons, and new icon graphics, courtesy of Jan Boruta as an early preview. Oh yes, because Jan's a fan of the channel and helped us out with our thumbnails, and he also was like, hey, you can get the new art assets before it's even released to the public. How cool is that? You can see it here first. Unique unit is the 2-decker. It is a galleys replacement and has a combat bonus in friendly territory. Increases border expansion rate while garrisoned and earns Golden Age points from kills. Damn, that is a good galleys, if I do say so myself. The unique building is a Kubstadt, I think. is how you pronounce that. I don't know. It replaces a garden. That's all you need to know. Not really. There's more. Provides +2 faith, so a garden that generates faith. Very cool. And extra happiness. Awesome. As well as granting a gold bonus on naval trade routes from the city. Again, a lot of different pieces to this. Makes you really, really, really want to build these. The difficulty, I think, will be freshwater, since it does seem to still require it. And if you're settling coastal cities, you better hope to God there's a river there. So, really strong, maybe more difficult to employ given your general settling strategy of finding coasts. Coasts plus rivers are generally pretty epic in Civ. This Civ makes it even stronger. So, something to think about. All right, almost done. Oscar II, the last Sweden. 90 influence when gifting great people to city-states. When declaring friendship, Sweden, Norway, and their friend gain a 10% boost to great person generation empire-wide. It is the era of the unified Sweden and Norway. Like I said, this is the last Swedish-esque variant that we had. I guess Norwegian-esque variant, too. We had a bunch of those. We had Denmark-Norway, we had Norway itself, now we have Sweden-Norway. So we have a lot of... there's been a lot of interplay between those civilizations, understandably, in the North Sea. But this is the baseline thing that Gustavus used to have. So that he gets this trait. Unique unit, the battleship replacement. It gives you the ability to repair offshore platforms and fishing boats. Really nice when someone pillages the damn thing and you just want to get it repaired. You don't need to build up yet another fishing boat. You probably need to build it fresh, but once you need to repair, no problem. Also has a bonus to defense, a penalty to attack. So defensive unit lets you do infrastructure, and Oscar, you'll see, is kind of built like a infrastructure tall civ rather than a wide I'm gonna get you kind of civ. Royal Academy's unique building replaces the university. It goes +1 science for every 2 citizens, not surprising. Instead of 2 scientist slots, however, it contains an artist and a writer slot. So, sorry, not a university replacement. Good God, did I say that? It's a public school replacement. So, not as heavy on the science, heavier on the culture and tourism. Kind of goes in with the whole Nobel Prize not just being a science prize, even though it kind of is. You see the focus here is probably not going to be science victory-esque. It's going to be more culture tourism-esque. Interesting. I'm not sure how that'll play out besides giving you more culture and more great work with what to throw at your enemies. And spread the glory of Oscar, the Grouch, overseas. All right, last but not least, we have... Who the hell is left? William I. Why? He's like, what are you talking about? The Normans. Well, if you don't know your history, the Normans are actually derived from Vikings. They decided to take up residence, picked up some Francophilic language tendencies, and decided to go kick the crap out of England. So, pretty badass back in the day. Courthouses are immediately produced in captured cities if you possess the original owner's capital. Very cool. Courthouses are long to produce, especially if you take an early conquest, and this helps out a lot. And generally, since you always want the original capital going for any kind of victory, it'll be a nice boon. It also works retroactively, as I understand. Also receive a free castle in every city conquered. So, again, kind of historical throwback to William fortifying all his conquests in England with at least Motte and Bailey's or something of that nature. And it's really nice. Again, it'll make it harder for the enemy to retake it. As soon as you take the damn city, you get a castle. And you get a castle. And you get a castle. And you have never seen before. But that's pretty good. I think it'll help cement those conquests you'll inevitably be going on. Unique unit, and I think this is really neat, is a Chevalier. It's a knight replacement. It's like, oh my god, another cavalry replacement. But wait, there's more! They are not penalized when attacking cities, so this is kind of like Eskia's Mandekalu cavalry, which is already pretty cool. If you have rough terrain to go through with your siege units and you're probably getting your ass kicked, you can send a couple horse units to knock down whatever's around them. And it begins with cover 1 and cover 2. These dudes are made for sitting in city line of fire and trying to take it, especially if it's near their combat strength. And the cover 1 and cover 2, if you keep them in open terrain with a basic open terrain bonus, I mean, cities are going to tickle these guys. It's insane. These can be very, very, very strong. If you get a horde of these rushing down, that could be dangerous. So, again, really something to watch out for. If you see William running around, and you know how much the AI loves horse units, Oh, God, I just get shivers. All right, unique improvement, just to change it up a bit. It's the Mott and Bailey. Oh, I noticed. I mentioned it already. Oh, God, all right. 50% defensive strength for any unit stationed on this tile. All right, so kind of like a fort. May be used in place of a pasture to improve cows, horses, and sheep. Also increasing gold output. So yeah, when you get this and you have these type of strategics / unique resources on your tiles, improve them. Improve them, child. And you'll get a boon for it. Extra gold is nice, 50% defensive strength, and it deals 5 damage to enemy units, ending the turn in an adjacent tile. So mini citadels with a fort built in, plus money, plus improving horses, cattle, and sheep. Very cool. So there you go. That's the cast of characters. That's all 10 modded civs. There are no vanilla civs in this game because there's a lot of Scandi civs out there, and we're going to play them all. So I will see you in-game next time as we bring on the Scandi-Melee, another free-for-all type map. 10 civs, standard size, but a little bigger than standard size, on a unique modded map. It's going to be epic. I hope you join me for that. Maybe we can compose an edit of our own for this one. All right, thank you so much. I have been Urs. This has been our preview, and I will see you next time in-game. Till then.